Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS NFL. We're into week 9. Ravens, Dolphins on Thursday night football. NFL's been going pretty well for me. Hopefully the positivity continues here.
I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points?
I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. All right, Baltimore, Miami, let's talk about it. Both these teams, I guess we could say, looking to make history. Since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970, teams that start 1-5, just 4 of them have ever made the playoffs. Both these teams started 1-5. Now, neither of these two teams are sitting at 1-5 right now, but both started the season 1-5. I mean, you'd have to say the loser of this game, their season's pretty much over. I mean, if the Ravens drop to, what would they be, 2-6, or the Dolphins drop to 2-7, you would have to think it's time to start looking ahead to next year. So kind of a do-or-die situation here for both teams. Good news for Baltimore. It does look like Lamar Jackson is going to play. It looked like that last week as well, but last week he was still listed as questionable. What happened was they listed Lamar Jackson as a full participant in Friday's practice, when in reality he was a limited participant, which people lost their minds about. I mean, I get it. I had Baltimore -6, but guys, I mean, injury reports are unreliable in any sport. That's not new, especially with the NBA stuff that's coming out. Like, oh, people are front-running injury news? Yeah, no shit. They've done that forever. It's not exactly breaking news. But in this instance, Lamar Jackson has been completely removed from the injury report. So it does look like he's going to play. I would imagine he's going to have a lot of friends and family in attendance to this one. He grew up in Boynton Beach, which is about 25-30 minutes from Hard Rock. Now, obviously, we're talking about a hamstring injury here. Those tend to linger. So whether or not he's going to be 100%, we'll have to wait and see. And by the way, his last trip to Miami didn't go so well. Back in 2021, the final score was 22-10. Miami's blitz packages actually gave Lamar Jackson all kinds of problems in this game. Baltimore's offense did virtually nothing their last trip to Miami. Not that that's relevant in any way. Just thought it was interesting. 22-10, the Dolphins won the last time Lamar Jackson went to Miami. But the important thing is it does look like he's going to play. It also looks like Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, is going to play as well. He's listed as questionable, but he's been participating in practice. So the Ravens offense should be fully healthy. Also, not pictured in this graphic is their fullback, Patrick Ricard. He came back last week. So the Ravens offense should be fully healthy here. When we're looking at the season-long matchup between the Baltimore offense and the Dolphins defense, we got the season-long numbers up here. Kind of deceiving on both sides. I mean, the Ravens offense on the year, 20th in success rate, 20th in EPA per play. The Dolphins defense, 26th and 27th. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you that Baltimore's offensive numbers are going to be seriously skewed by the last 3 games. Before Lamar Jackson got injured, they were averaging almost 33 points per game, 7.6 yards per play, over 51% success rate. They were looking like one of, if not the best offense in the NFL before Lamar Jackson got hurt. Obviously, the last 3 games, we've seen other quarterbacks in there, Cooper Rush and then Tyler Huntley. In those 3 games, they averaged just 14.3 points per game, 5.5 yards per play. Success rate still over 46%. But the point is, you're looking at the Ravens season-long numbers. They're obviously going to be very skewed by the last 3 games. But here's the thing. You look at the Dolphins defense, and look, I'm not sure how much we take away from the last 2 games, but through the first 6 games, they were looking like it was either them or Dallas as far as the worst defense in the NFL. They were allowing 6.9 yards per play, over 55% success rate, 29 points per game. In their last 2, now it was against Dylan Gabriel and Kirk Cousins. We got to keep that in mind. But in their last 2 games, they didn't just play well defensively. These are lights out defensive numbers. 4.5 yards per play, 38.3% success rate. So the Dolphins defense looking really good in back-to-back games. And yes, they're going to be missing Storm Duck, who got injured again, but that's not exactly new. He played in week 1, got hurt, missed all the way up to last week, came back and got hurt again. So Storm Duck is on the IR. I believe he's going to miss the rest of the season, but he's barely played this year. And they actually might be getting Jason Marshall back. He hasn't played all year. That's their nickel. They opened up his 21-day window to return from the IR last week. He obviously didn't return last week. I'm reading there's a chance Jason Marshall comes back, and it looks like Bradley Chubb's going to play. He's been practicing. So the Dolphins defense might actually be healthier coming off their 2 best games of the year. Now, it's important to take note that if Lamar Jackson is 100%, which is an if, I mean, we're talking about a hamstring injury, but if Lamar Jackson is 100%, they should score on Miami's defense. I mean, Miami's defense has been generating some more pressure. They've been blitzing a lot, but Lamar Jackson's got excellent numbers against the blitz. If Lamar Jackson's 100%, Baltimore should score points in this game. But if he's not 100%, I mean, there's a path here. If you're planning on betting the Dolphins, there is a path here. The defense has looked like a completely different unit in the last 2 games. They blitz a lot. They've actually been generating some pressure in the last 2. And the Miami defense, remember, obviously hasn't played well this year. They do have talent in terms of pressuring the quarterback. Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. They do have talent in terms of pressuring the quarterback. So if Lamar Jackson has a lingering hamstring injury, I'm just saying there's a path. Miami's played excellent defense against the run the last 2 weeks. They've been pressuring the passer. There's a path to Miami's defense actually giving Baltimore some problems if Lamar Jackson is not 100%. Remember, Lamar Jackson is a guy that tends to hold on to the football. Now, in a lot of those cases, he extends the play and actually makes something happen. But against a team that's going to be sending blitzes, that has talent, that is able to generate pressure, there's a path here. And look, I know it was against Kirk Cousins, but we can't just sweep this data point under the rug. This Dolphins defense went on the road to play a Falcons team that was coming off a loss, that has one of the best running backs in the NFL in Bijan Robinson, that has an offensive line that's done a great job generating push in the run game all year. They held the Falcons run game in Atlanta to under 2.9 yards per carry, under 38% success rate per rush, just 46 rushing yards in the game. Bijan Robinson had 9 carries for 25 yards against the Dolphins defense. Yes, I know Kirk Cousins was playing quarterback, but how do we not show Miami's defense a little bit of respect here? That's a serious data point to take Bijan Robinson out of the game on the road in Atlanta. And that game in Atlanta, that was not a fluke at all. I mean, it wasn't like fluky turnovers or penalties. The Dolphins beat the hell out of the Falcons in this game. Atlanta did fumble the ball once inside the Dolphins 20. It was like a costly fumble, but it was in the 3rd quarter and it was already 24-3 Miami at that point. That was truly a beatdown on both sides of the ball. And speaking of both sides of the ball, can we talk about Visor Tua for a second? I mean, has a swollen eye or pink eye or whatever the hell it was, comes out rocking a visor and throws 4 touchdowns, plays great, over a 138 passer rating in the game. And it's not like the Falcons defense is terrible. It was also on the road. Tua tends to play better at home, got the ball out quickly. I mean, it was Tua's best game of the year last week on the road in Atlanta. And speaking, now that we're on the other side of the ball, let's talk about the Dolphins offense against the Ravens defense. And we're looking at 2 more units that have deceiving numbers. Both of these units, the Dolphins offense on the year is 29th in success rate, 24th in EPA per play. The Ravens defense is 30th and 30th. But just like the Dolphins defense, the Ravens defense may have turned the corner. We know they're dealing with serious injuries in the front 7. But if you look at their last 2 games, 16.5 points per game, 5.9 yards per play, 48.5% success rate still isn't good. But in comparison to their first 5 games, it looks like this Ravens defense is playing better. It's not like the Dolphins defense. The Dolphins defense has put up elite numbers in their last 2. They also played Dylan Gabriel, Kirk Cousins. The Ravens have played the Rams and, well, the Bears. Bears can't really run the ball, but the Ravens have played tougher opponents. But still, what I'm trying to point out here is just like the Dolphins defense, Baltimore's defense seems to have turned a little bit of a corner. The question is, how far can this Ravens defense take us with the injuries to the front 7? Matabike out for the year. Broderick Washington out for the year. They just lost Tavius Robinson as well, which is one of their edge rushers. So, I mean, this is 3 pieces missing on the defensive line. Do we really think Baltimore is the team to exploit the injured Dolphins offensive line? Because they're still missing the same 3 starters. Obviously, none of these are new. They've been out basically the entire year. I think they played a little bit in week 1, but the Dolphins have been playing their entire season missing these 3 starters on the offensive line. There's also no Tyreek Hill and no Darren Waller. Also not new. Darren Waller's been out a couple. He missed last week as well. But this Dolphins offense, man, last week, just like the defense, we have to give this unit some credit. 5.4 yards per play. That's not even crazy. That's pretty average. The reason they were able to score 34 points in the game, 53.1% success rate. This Falcons defense just couldn't get Miami off the field. And remember, when it comes to the Dolphins running the ball, this is the graphic I used last week, so it doesn't have Atlanta included in this graphic, but they've played 3 games this year against 3 of the top run defenses in the NFL. New England, Carolina just got run on by Buffalo, but before that game, they were the best run defense in the NFL. And Cleveland, who probably is the best run defense in the NFL. If you look at those 3 games, yes, Miami couldn't run the ball. If you look at their other 4 games and now throw Atlanta in there as well, which isn't included in this graphic, the Dolphins have run the ball in every single game outside of their 3 games against elite run defenses. Not to mention this Miami offense is considerably better at home. That's been the case throughout Tua's entire career. He's always been better at home at Hard Rock. In their 3 home games this year, the offenses look fine. 6.2 yards per play, just under 29 points per game, 49.5% success rate. So the question is, when it comes to this Baltimore defense, yes, they've played better in the last 2 weeks. And honestly, shout out to the Ravens for covering against the Bears. I had Ravens minus 6. Obviously, I bet that. Then Lamar Jackson is ruled out. The line drops. My bet was underwater. Still covered for me. So shout out to the Ravens defense for playing a great game, and they have been better in the last 2 games. But this Dolphins offense, they're better at home. I think they can run the ball here. Tua gets the ball out quickly. Do we trust Baltimore to make stops here at Hard Rock against the Dolphins offense? I think the Dolphins are going to move the ball in this game. As far as the matchup between Mike McDaniel and John Harbaugh, we've seen these 2 face off twice. Both times were in Baltimore. So John Harbaugh has never coached against Mike McDaniel at Hard Rock before. The 2 games in Baltimore, the most recent was December 31st, 2023. So New Year's Eve, it was probably cold. You know how Tua is in the cold weather. 56-19 was the final score there. But the first time they met, the year prior, September 18th, again in Baltimore, the weather was warmer in September. 42-38 was the final score. The Dolphins win outright. So I think McDaniel can scheme up. I think the Dolphins are going to move the ball in this game. It's tough to take an over with 2 slower-paced teams. We're talking about a total that's up at 50.5. These teams in terms of seconds between snaps, 26th and 25th. So it's tough to take an over in what might be a slow-paced game, but the weather's supposed to be beautiful. If Lamar Jackson's healthy, they should score. That's a big if. I think the Dolphins could move the ball right back. I want to bet Miami plus 7.5. I do. Someone talk me off of it. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I think this Dolphins team might be a little bit undervalued. They had a few games against elite defenses and the injuries, and I think everyone has just written Miami off as this terrible football team. But the truth is, they're not that bad, and especially at home in Hard Rock, they actually can be pretty dangerous. I don't think this should be above a touchdown, especially with the uncertainty to Lamar Jackson's hamstring. Can we all agree that if Lamar Jackson is not 100% and doesn't have full mobility, that this should probably be like 3? So I want to bet the Dolphins. Miami plus 7.5. I may bet this. I haven't placed it as of yet. But yeah, I want to bet the Dolphins here. I also lean over. I haven't placed a bet, but it's going to be, if I place a bet, it'll be Dolphins. I probably won't take the over, but I definitely lean over.
So an update. I finished recording that. I was seriously considering betting the Dolphins, but I thought more about it, and Harbaugh in prime time, and I like to support the better coach on the short week, and I think we could all agree that would be Harbaugh here. So I can't do it. So my favorite pick is actually the over before Miami. So I'm probably just going to place one of the fun same game parlays that we do in the group. I'm not going to post a bet on this one, but I would pick the over before Miami now.
Thanks for watching live shows at midnight Eastern time. As always, if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Yeah, let's have a good weekend here. Remember to bet responsibly.